There is a moment before every mistake, a quiet moment where nothing has happened yet, but everything is about to. That moment is temptation. Temptation is not loud. It does not force its way in. It whispers, it suggests, it negotiates. And most men do not even realize they are in a negotiation. They think the battle starts when they act. It does not. The battle begins when the thought enters the mind. This is where most men fail. Scripture in James tells us that each person is tempted when they are drawn away by their own desire, and that desire, when it grows, leads to sin. That means temptation does not begin outside of you. It begins within you. You cannot outrun it because you carry it. And there is always a choice. Even Jesus Christ was tempted. The difference was not the absence of temptation, but the response. He did not negotiate. He answered with truth. Man shall not live by bread alone. That is the model, not resistance through emotion, but through truth, because emotion will fail you. It always does. You do not overcome temptation by feeling strong. You overcome it by deciding before the moment what you will do in it. Most men fail not because they are incapable, but because they are unprepared. This is where most men fail. Lust, distraction, escape, the pull toward what is easy. These are not random. They follow patterns. They show up when you are tired, when you are alone, when you are undisciplined. And instead of cutting them off, most men entertain them. They scroll, they linger, they justify. But the longer you entertain a thought, the stronger it becomes. Temptation feeds on attention. What you focus on grows. There is no neutral here. Every second you stay, you are choosing it. In 1 Corinthians it says that no temptation is beyond what you can bear, and that there is always a way out. That means when you give in, it is not because you had no option. It is because you chose not to take it. You had a way out, and you stayed anyway. This is where most men fail. So what do? You interrupt immediately. The moment the thought enters, you cut it off. Not later, not after you have entertained it. Now, you replace it with something stronger. Truth, action, movement, something that breaks the pattern. And then you remove yourself from the environment that allowed it to grow. Close the app, leave the room, change the situation. Do not stay where you are weak and expect to become strong, because if you stay, you will fall. There is no safe amount of compromise. Sin does not begin with action, it begins with permission. Just this once. No one will know. These are not harmless thoughts. They are decisions in disguise. In Proverbs it says to guard your heart above all else, because everything flows from it. Your habits, your discipline, your future. All of it begins with what you allow inside. So you do not start with behavior. You start with boundaries. What do you allow yourself to see, to dwell on, to return to? Because once something enters your mind, it does not leave easily. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you have power over your mind, not outside events. You cannot stop temptation from appearing, but you can control your response to it. That is where your strength is found, and that strength is built through repetition. Every time you resist, you build discipline. Every time you give in, you build weakness. Your future is being shaped in these moments, whether you realize it or not. So be honest with yourself. Where do you fall? When do you fall? Why do you fall? Because until you answer that, you will repeat it. In Matthew, it says the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. That tension will always be there. You will always have a higher self and a lower one. The question is, which one are you feeding? because there is always a choice. Not later, not eventually, but right there, in the moment before the decision. This is where most men fail. But it does not have to be where you do, because your life is not shaped in public. It is shaped in private, in the quiet moments, where no one is watching and no one is stopping you. That is where discipline is built, and that is where temptation is defeated. You do not rise above temptation. You choose differently within it.